Okay, so if you are watching this, it's probably because you are looking for implementing a reverse proxy SSH, or you are trying to connect to your IP camera, or you Google some web server, or whatever is the reason why you're here. The content of this tutorial is to do a DIY, a very quick and dirty connection using a reverse proxy so that you can reach everything that you want on your local network, even if it's blocked by a NAT or whatever situation you are. So I blogged here a little bit of what is the situation, but fundamentally, the case is the following. You have an IP camera that has like its own IP, or you have like a local web server. In my case, was a robot. Now, this one doesn't have any possibility to launch any SSH, so you need a local server to do this. Now, the problem is you cannot have any possibility to track anything on your public IP address here because it's managed by the NAT. You can see the note I copy on the blog. So what are we left to do? So what are the solution we have? We want to use then a jump server, let's say, something that is always online that we can connect to, and it's gonna help us out, or it's gonna enable us to basically see the IP camera for wherever we are. Now, in order to implement this, here I have, in my case, a Raspberry Pi. This one is an IP camera. We're gonna test in that way. Now, here I also put a web server. So we're gonna test the reverse SSH tunnel in two ways. By connecting with this one, so with the local server itself, where there is like a web server running, or directed to the IP camera. And I will show you all this type of connectivity. And we're gonna test it directly from the public IP, the VM that we're gonna set on OCI. So without any further ado, let's quickly do this one. It shouldn't take really more than a few minutes. So let me log in on my account. I just set it up really from scratch. So, all right, so let's create an instance. Some of the port may already be open, so maybe the case that, okay, so this is right. Let's call it jump server. Sorry, one thing to mention, obviously I'm gonna use the Oracle always free service. We're gonna use Ubuntu, but I mean, you can follow along, right? You can see all the details here, so you can also have an idea how much this one is gonna cost us, because I'm gonna use an Ampere that should be always free. Okay, yeah, it's actually a little bit oversized for this exercise, right? Because it's really, we don't need this much gig of RAM. This is just like a jump server, so it's there's something really small. This one is relatively not much storage I have now. I use like always my key that I already created. You have maybe your own, or you can basically just let this guy generate the key for you. Done. Okay, so step number one has been done. So here I put some of the instructions. So we are here now. So we have created now. I suggest you to go on with Oracle Cloud Dev and test with anything else. So you can try and see if that works. As I said, we use Ubuntu. Now let's go back and see if the machine has been, okay, is running, it is fine, doesn't matter. So let's continue here. So we are creating this one, and and we have the key stored in our local machine. Now, what we're gonna do is we have to transfer the key in this server. Now, I've already transferred it, but this is like how it looks like when I connect it to my Raspberry Pi. I can show you that I've already transferred as this one. the one that we just used. So I transfer the private key. Now, if you don't know how to do this, there is a command over here. If you pop up, this is the transfer, etc., etc. If you're using some other server, I mean, it's fine as long as you have an SSH command here. So we can go back here. Now, what we said is this should be actually done. So let's copy the IP. This is the public IP address. It's the it's fundamental to have this one. Okay. I don't know the other service provider if they give it to you for free or whatever. Now, I'll show you. I've already put this one here and just prepare all the commands. So we are going to run all of them. And I'm going to show you how all of those things works. Okay. Okay. Right. All right. I think we have everything we need. So if this one is running, now we are ready to basically launch the web server here. But before doing that, this is the IP address that we're using. Okay. So I put everything in context so you can see everything that is happening. Now, so if I go on my browser and put this IP address, okay, you can see that there's an Nginx server running on this IP address. There is the Raspberry Pi, okay? Now I'll show you before there is a Raspberry Pi. You can see the IP address also here, right? Now, we take now the command. So, all right, so we have to do a few things now that we are connected. Okay. Oh, sorry. So first thing first, let's connect to the machine. Let's open it. This is Patreon, okay? Okay, this is actually my local machine. As you can see, I'm using user here and on here. My home is the commands we're gonna use on the Raspberry. So this is the first time the machine is new. Okay, so we are now connected. You can see kind of, okay, so always good practice to do this. May take a second, but yeah. Okay, then we're gonna open the port 8080. I'm gonna explain you, but is the port that we're gonna use to create the tunnel from where the server is running to this remote server. Okay, so this is the command that we're gonna launch first. I'm gonna show you what it does, but because we're gonna use on port 8080, you have to open the port, and we're also to change the SSH configuration file to change these two parameters. So I mean, you can skip or you can go fast to avoid me talking. I mean, this is just to fill the gaps, I would say. So it's installing everything we need to just make sure what's fine. Everything is fine and we shouldn't have any issue. So let's do this first. Okay, so it was already installed, so no problem. Now we open this port and then we open this port. Now, quick remark. If we go here, this is running on this public subnet. This public subnet, the security list where this port has to be open. Okay, Otherwise, it's not possible to do the tunnel. Okay. Right. Okay. So last steps is to change the gateway and oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, use gateway for yeah, change to yes. Now Control X, Y, and okay. Now the things that we should also do now is to restart the SSH, just to make sure that these changes are read by the tunnel. So we do this now. So we do a sudo boot now. Okay, so it's connection close. It's really gonna take few seconds. I don't think it's gonna take it a minute. Now the next step is to what we want to do is we have seen that server now running locally. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna launch the tunnel. We're gonna run this command and we're gonna tunnel the localhost, so the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so this one that in the schema is this one, where there's the server running, the Nginx that we just saw, and that's about it. So let's see if this one is back online. Okay, so you can see there's already back online. Okay, it's super quick. Right, so let's then paste the command to open the tunnel. First time for the fingerprint. It should be fine because I'm using always the same key, so hopefully it's not gonna give me any error. Okay, so it's a bit weird, but basically now it's connected and it stays open. So this is us work correctly. Now we go back to instances. Start this is the jump server. Okay. So now 8080. Now we can see the local server on our internet. Okay. So this was step number 1. And we used this command. Okay. So now what we can do is to connect to, you can either use connect to another port if you have a service that is running on another port. For example, if you're running a Django and you want to test something, you can use another port. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna test against a camera, so an external camera. So this is what I'm going to do. Right? So I'm gonna take the SPTFT2 camera. I'm gonna connect it. All right. So here. So now it's connected and it's powered. Now, funny thing is, this is one is running. I should be able. It should run by itself, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. But if you have the Arduino running, this one should be okay, just to avoid any problem. Okay, show you this one is just running on this server. Okay, so if I go back here and I push this, now I have a connectivity issue in regards to my server. So here I have to quickly switch to another network and I follow this one to happen. You shouldn't have this issue. Now, right. So it's working. So as you can see, there is something that is applied. So now we open this. Okay, here you go. So now we can see the command. So if I do start streaming, yeah, I can see the TV. And so you can either increase the quality, whatever. Okay, so it's working. Right. Okay, so let's stop everything here and let's do the following. So we go here and now we know this is the IP address. Now the port 80 is running the server that we just saw, okay, and the camera. Now let's take the port 80. So if I launch this server, now there's the other one still running, we have to kill it, okay? And then we have to run this new one. So let's do that. Now the connectivity here is gone because of the problem that I had to switch network. Unfortunately, I have to sub network, and so but you shouldn't face that. Okay, so I'm connected. This one is still on. I think it's option C or control. Okay, control C to stop it. Okay, so now we should have, we copy this command here. Okay, now we are tunneling this one. Okay, and we are pushing this one, sorry, this address. So what we're doing now is taking this web server from here and pushing to this reverse tunnel to make it available from the from Oracle Cloud. But technically, this is the IP address, so the web server that we just saw that is connected to the camera on the SP32 cam. Now, so we go back then where we were here. We have to launch these. So now it should work. It should be working. And what we have to do is to take this IP address and you remember what we could see here? Always an error here, but I think it's something related with, here we go. Now you can see the camera, right? So you can see all the commands, everything seems to work. You don't see any commands that is missing or bugs or whatever. However, if I do a test coming, you see it's broken. Why is broken? Because if you check what is happening, you can see that it's taking the port 81, okay, and then dash it. So what we have to understand, or what we understood now, is that there's the port 81 where the stream is coming from. So because there is the tunnel, this IP address doesn't make any sense, and the interpreter just doesn't work this way. So in order then to, I haven't solved the problem to this. You would need to change, I think, the code in the service. If you have a better solution, just to let me know. But what we can do right now is to go back here. We switch off days. we take the other command with the port 81. Okay. Now we launch that command. Okay. Now it's port 81, the one that we are using. So we go back to the browser. Here. Okay. This one was what we were saying before. And now, if we do this, and now you're streaming on internet. There you go. Problem solved. Now, I'm gonna have another video. So as you can see, everything is working. So there's no need to run this one any longer. So the video is over. Everything has been explained. So I can close this, and that's about it. Now, if you want to stick around now, I'm gonna tell you something else. The problem that we just saw, the fact that you can only basically stream one IP address, and if there is something that this web server is calling internally or within the LAN, then this whole reverse tunnel thing failed because those local IP address would be searched locally here, and they would not be part of this local network within the Oracle Cloud where this server is sitting. So it has a public IP, but it's sitting in a local subnet, as we have seen before. Now, long story short, to say that the next step would be to install here a reverse proxy on this way, Nginx. Okay, so if you do this, there would be the next step, the next video. Then we should be able to connect and to make that working, right? So that all those different features working. This is to help me to basically make working the robot camera that I have, because this project, it was actually more for that, but because I have a different set of infrastructure. So let me share what I'm talking about. So if we go back, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth, but if we go here, I wanted to show you what we are talking about. We are talking about the actually, sorry. Let me find 1 second what I'm talking about. I want to show you the schema of what we're trying to implement here. Okay, so the point is that the problem that we would face is the web server in my project. This is the robot camera project, is running on the Reverse AP core, and then there are two other servers running on the SP32 that are streamed to the web server here. So they have two local IP. So the web server running here is calling these two IP addresses, so it wouldn't work on the tunnel. So I have to implement that proxy in order to make this all game working, so I can connect from remote and see the cameras, as well as commanding the piloting, so the different commands in the Raspberry Pico. All right, so hope you enjoyed the video. I really struggled to find guides that really worked step by step. So this one is one that actually worked. It's just like a few minutes. Now, it's absolutely not secure, so don't make any mistake in trying to make this as a production ready. Actually, now, just for security reason, I'm gonna terminate this, and also for cost reason. Still fairly cheap, but remember to, if you don't need this one any longer, you don't want to be charged, so terminate, and also terminate the disk. All right, okay. Let me know if you have any comments. Hope it helps really. It took me months to find the solution I was looking for, and it was actually pretty simple. Bye bye.